Anyway, how you want to run this?
Actually, I don't even really have. I never even make notes. We're just like a chat.
All right, we're just like a chat.
At this point, like we're just like a talk.
Anything happen, just happen.
Hi everyone, my name is Tiana.
And I'm Ashley.
And this is WongaGyal, the podcast, your favorite Caribbean food podcast. Welcome back.
I feel like we should have like a section where there's like a huge applause after you said that.
Just bear clap. Oh my god. But yes, so we hope you are doing well.
Hope you tuned in to episode 1 for season 2.
Yeah.
This is what, episode 2, right?
Yeah, this is episode 2. So we're back. And
back again
like Casey. Big up Casey anyway today. Alright, so on today's episode, long story short, we're going to be talking about the diversity of
lack thereof
of Jamaican restaurant menus. Alright, no, so this episode was inspired by a tweet made by Bwoyatingz. Big up Bwoyatingz, big up Bwoyatingz Podcast, you know, Jamaican podcasters out here. Yeah, a couple weeks ago, a while back, Bwoyatingz made a tweet that said, "Restaurants here lack vision. Me tired for see chicken and shrimp Alfredo." God know though, me tired for see it too. But, you know, it got me thinking, and of course, once I am thinking, I message Ashley same time. And it got Ashley thinking, and we decided, you know, why not talk about it for an episode. So let's start off with Ashley. What's your favorite restaurant in
Why would you put me on Kingston? The spot like that?
Because I always put you on the spot. Yeah. What's your favorite restaurant in Kingston?
When you say restaurant, are we talking fine dining or are we just...
Yeah, like your favorite place to go out that you wouldn't necessarily...
Go out
all the time.
Definitely Regency restaurant.
Really?
Yeah, the food there is... I've never had a bad experience. Obviously, I don't get to go there often because it's so expensive. And then probably next to that, I would say Cellar 8. I enjoy every experience I've had at Cellar 8.
Is there something that is there a dish at Cellar 8 and at Regency that stands out to you? Like, if you had to recommend a dish to someone, what would it be?
I don't know about Regency, but them have a cream of pumpkin soup. It's bad. If I'm craving pumpkin soup, that is the first place I think about. From Regency. It's very, very, very nice. From Cellar 8, I like their pasta. I've had the flatbread there. Flatbread is good. The crab dip is very nice, and the sliders are good. So you know, Cellar 8 have a very nice variety. So it's not like say I will go there for just one thing because I've had several things. They have a very nice burger as well. Yeah, and then there's this creamy salmon thing them do. I don't remember what the name of it is, but it's also very nice, and their bread pudding is also very nice. I've eaten there quite a few times. I just realized.
Yeah. I would say as well, Cellar 8 is also up there for me. I don't think I've had a bad Cellar 8 experience. I also really love Tea Tree.
Yes.
That's like my place. I love Tea Tree.
I feel like I know you order at Tea Tree.
Yeah, because it's the same thing every time. It is
the smoked
marlin crepe with the capers and pepper jelly
and the mint frozen and lemonade.
Frozen mint lemonade. Yes. So those restaurants for me, I don't identify them with pasta. Maybe Cellar 8 because Cellar 8 pasta
it's nice. It's nice. It's very good. But it's also different from a lot of pastas that I've had or seen in Kingston.
Yeah. But say all that to say, there is definitely more out there than just pasta.
Of course.
But there is 100% validity to what Bwoyatingz is saying. Because when people talk about going out, like, I don't know why Jamaicans.
Jamaicans.
Why Kingstonians love...
I don't know. There's a struggle.
Alfredo so much.
Alfredo have them by the neck. I don't know what it is. And I realize that people will gravitate towards pasta at every single restaurant they go. And every time they go out, their idea of going out is going out and having pasta. And I don't understand why.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because personally I'm not that crazy about pasta. And also my rule is I'm not going to go out and order something that I can make at home. So I'm not going to always go out. Unless I'm craving the pasta, then that's different. But I realize that it's a thing where you go into a new restaurant and the first thing you're going to do is eat the pasta. I don't understand.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I used to be like that. I used to be like an Alfredo person. This was probably back in high school when I never have no sense and my taste buds were just bleh. But
I wish you guys could have seen the face she made a while ago. Oh my god.
But I used to be the person that like anywhere I went, it was Alfredo. Because I do like Alfredo. If I was to choose a favorite pasta, it would be Alfredo. I don't really like tomato sauce. I don't know.
Yeah, we know
I'm
this.
not a big fan.
We know this from season 1.
Yeah, so I do like Alfredo. I do like a good chicken Alfredo, sorry. But I realize that I've gotten to the point now where I'm like the same thing with you. If I can make it at home, why am I gonna order it when I go out? But at the same time, I am yet to make an Alfredo that tastes the same as some of my favorite Alfredos out. For instance, if I feel like I have a feel for Alfredo now, and if I feel for Alfredo, I definitely want the blackened chicken Alfredo from TGI.
Really?
Yeah.
Or that's true. I've heard you say that before.
Or I'll want the Alfredo from Jamaica Liquor Warehouse. They do a really good Alfredo, and that one is really nice because Bradley can have it because they do it in coconut milk as well. So there's a lactose-free version, and it tastes just as good. It doesn't taste the same, obviously, but it tastes just as good.
That's
like I would have it.
Well, I think I've seen it being mentioned, the Liquor Warehouse pasta. And I mean, when I think about it, I've had good pasta in Kingston. Best pasta I've had, not just Alfredo, was at that Italian restaurant in Ochi, Evita's. Best pasta I've had. But it's different, and I feel like when people talk about pasta, the first thing that comes to mind is definitely the Alfredo.
Yeah.
And we have so many different places in Kingston where you can get it. And what I've noticed is that nowhere tastes the same.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
9 times out of 10, if I'm craving pasta and I want a quick pasta, I go CPJ and buy it. And
CPJ Alfredo is also not bad.
And it quick, it's not that expensive, and it's like something I can just get for lunch quickly, you know. And the only one that tastes similar to it is the one I've tried at Trax, but the one I've had at Cellar 8 is so much different. And what's funny is that I prefer the one at Cellar 8 because it's different versus somebody who loved the creamy pasta at like a South Avenue. But all of that still come back to the fact that people just love or always gravitate towards Alfredo.
Yes.
And I think because of that, people will think that the only thing that Jamaica considers, or Kingston for that matter, considers fine dining is Alfredo pasta.
Is Alfredo.
Which is not true, because I've seen so many varieties on menus, but people just don't buy it.
Yeah. To be honest, I feel like in general, Jamaicans, I would love somebody to do a study. I think we like dairy. I think we love dairy. I think there must be some sort of genetic draw towards dairy, because everybody want ice cream on a Sunday. Clearly everybody love liquor Alfredo.
Is it a genetic draw, or is that, well, at least for the Sunday ice cream, or that's just like a cultural practice that we've seen growing up? Because I don't remember ever getting to my big age and just starting the ice cream trend. I remember Sunday ice cream from a little bit of picnic when they have instead with my parents, so it's not a no thing. And the same thing with my parents, them no Sunday ice cream. So I feel like that is like a cultural practice that we've all just had. But would we consider dairy on a whole a part of that?
No, let me tell you why I would consider dairy on a whole a part of that. I don't ever remember a time in my life where dairy was not on my supermarket list.
That's true.
If any typical Jamaican who goes to the supermarket is going to buy a carton of milk, and it's usually cow's milk because it's the more affordable one, they're going to buy some sort of cheese, whether it's sliced cheese or the little black tasty cheese or the little white cheese that
and they're going to buy butter.
And they're going to buy butter, honestly, I feel like we just like dairy, where we just eat a lot of dairy. And so then, given that, I'm not surprised then that so many people do like Alfredo.
And to add to that point, I think we also really love carbs.
Yes.
Jamaican people love carbs.
We're very carby. We're very carby people.
We're very starchy people. And I feel like we don't have a complete meal, or we don't consider it a complete meal unless it's a whole lot of carbs, a whole lot of starch, and putting us in a food coma afterwards. And when the more I think about it, I realize that, barring the fact that across menus, and this is not me presenting my opinion, but this is a fact, Alfredo is on the cheaper side of most menus, versus when you look at like ribs and pork chops and whatever else.
For sure.
And on top of it, you get a bargain for your buck.
Yeah,
it's
I was just gonna say, it's not even just Alfredo. Pasta on a whole, like pasta as just like raw pasta, like without any sauce, without any whatever, it's generally cheap. It's generally cheap. And when you think of like what is in a restaurant that's generally cheap, it's usually a carb. What can you do with rice? Not much.
Steam it.
You can't do much with rice other than make rice. And when you make rice, it's a side. Many Jamaicans aren't going to look at rice and think, this is a main dish.
Let me just put stuff and this will be a main. Except for Chinese food.
So you have like cheap rice, okay, that cannot be the star of the show. What is the alternative? Pasta. Because pasta is pretty cheap, especially when you're not making it in a restaurant, which is...
Because you buy it pre-made.
Let's be real, a lot of Jamaican restaurants are not making fresh pasta. They're not making in-house pasta.
I don't know any restaurant that will actually say fresh pasta made in-house.
Yeah.
Maybe the Italian restaurant.
I wouldn't be surprised if Evita's does make in-house pasta. I've never been to Evita's, unfortunately.
You should go. It's very
I do want to go. But yeah, I think a lot of restaurants probably buy pasta in bulk. And
the penne and the linguine.
Yeah, pasta is cheap and it's filling.
And I think Jamaica has a culture of belly full.
You need your belly for full. And I mean, that's a bad thing at the end of the day. Yeah, Jamaicans definitely want the biggest bang for their buck that will make them belly buck.
And you know what's funny? Just to add to like some more facts to the conversation, there's this term called utility in economics, and utility just refers to the satisfaction that you get from consuming something. And what they do is that they link utility to demand and also to price. So what they're saying is the more utility you get is the more you're going to demand, and it's the more money you're willing to spend. So if Jamaicans are extremely satisfied and fulfilled by this pasta, then that is what they're going to demand. That's the more that they're going to consume.
Which comes back to the tweet, right? Because the tweet starts with the restaurants here lack vision. And to be honest, I mean, I don't work in the restaurant industry directly. I've never worked in a kitchen. I have spoken to some chefs, some local chefs, and I will say it's not that they lack vision. It is that it comes down to demand.
Yeah, you're not going to present something to a crowd that is not going to buy it.
Right. And people want pasta. It's that safe thing. Everybody, let me tell you, everybody know how pasta tastes. You know why? Because them can make it at them yard. So everybody, when you go to a restaurant, you already know that this is probably going to taste good. Because you know how to make it at your house. Your mother know how to make it. 9 times out of 10, somebody going to a restaurant already has a preconceived notion of what pasta is going to taste like because they've had it already. It's not a new food. And so, and Jamaicans don't like change. They don't like
what
change.
I was going to say to you is that what I realize is a lot of people do, which is very different from what you and I would do because we're very adventurous with food. They would pick the safe thing on the menu. So if they go to a new place, in my mind, I do this for when I go into a new cook shop. So if it's the first time I go in, I go order fried chicken because in my head, if you mess up the fried chicken, I can't order anything else off of the menu because this has to be the easiest thing. Maybe that's what they do with the pasta. But then it's different because they go to a new restaurant and say, let me try the pasta because the pasta's safe. But then they continuously buy the pasta.
Yeah. Because then I think it's like you try the pasta because the pasta's safe. And you realize that the pasta tastes good. So you just keep buying the pasta.
I don't like that.
Because the pasta tastes good. And you know that every time you go, the pasta is going to taste good. So, I mean, I honestly think that chefs in Jamaica who are committed to their craft, who love cooking, I I genuinely think they would love to go outside of the box. They would love to develop more dishes, and they would love to get experimental and stuff. But is the market open to that? A lot of the market is not open to an experimental dining experience.
I do agree with that. But there's the part of the tweet that says restaurants lack diversity. I don't agree with it 100% because you and I have been to so many restaurants and we don't even look at pasta. And we've had so many different things at different restaurants. I was even explaining to somebody the other night that you and I went to brunch at Broken Plate. It was very lovely, and we had like shrimp and grits, we had lobster, and we had so many new things.
I want to bring up that because I thought that menu was great. And I have been telling people that I think it's I loved that brunch. I think it's so good what Broken Plate is trying to do, where the menu does not look the same every week. It's different. Chef Stewie is doing his damn thing.
He's doing God's work over there. It's so good.
He is experimenting, and I'm so glad that the owners of Broken Plate are giving Chef Stewie the space to be creative in the kitchen. However, I have had people DM me on WongaGyal to tell me more than once to tell me that they think that Broken Plate is doing too much with their brunch menu and they don't like it. So you see, it comes back to it. Comes back to it.
So what is wrong with you?
There is such a small minority of people who are willing to step outside of the box and taste different things. And as a business, you cannot cater to the minority. No. You cannot do that. You cannot do it unless it's like you're in a niche market and you know
and you have a niche
and you have a niche audience, a dependable niche audience
that keep the business floating.
There is no way that you can get up and decide to deviate from what the majority of your audience is demanding.
And I do see the merit in that, because for instance, you posted all those pictures from when we went to brunch, and I'm sure we went that Saturday and somebody sitting with me like, Jano, WongaGyal was at Broken Plate and this is how the menu looked. Let me see if I can go because the food looked good. I want to order what you had. And then them go, and obviously it's a different menu than they experienced. But had they been more open to trying new things, then you're going to be a little disappointed. But then at the end of the day, you're going to be like, but I got to try some new things. And I think it's very cool that they're doing this, because I know that since Crew came under new management, they did a lot of tweaking to the menu and they tried to introduce some new things. And I love when restaurants change their menus. I feel like not too much change, meaning because you have people who come there as your regulars and they look out for certain things and that's what they want. But you change up the menu every now and again and you take off some things, you put on new things. And what I realized is, I went to dinner last week, Saturday night. I went to South Avenue Grill. And everybody knows what South Avenue is famous for, that pasta.
The big dirty pasta.
Let me tell you, it's so intimidating.
If you literally buy that, that's breakfast, lunch and dinner, and maybe breakfast the
when I was working after undergrad, Shade and I would buy one pasta, split it for lunch, and then she'd carry home the rest. And after we eat the lunch, man, it's bedtime, because it's so much food. And I personally am very intimidated by portions like that. I'm gonna be turned off. I think it's unappetizing, but everybody have their own thing and people love the pasta there. Personally, I'm not that crazy for it. One, I'm not that crazy for pasta, and two, I don't think it's that special. So obviously I didn't order the pasta, and I realized, first of all, it was packed. I never expected to see so many people, and I opted to go to dinner early to avoid the crowd. And when I went, it was just ransacked. You know, they preempt you and tell you what they don't have on the menu at the time. And it had me thinking, I was like, you know what's funny? They've never once come out and said them don't have pasta. Like, because this is something that they cater for. They know that people are coming to have pasta. And I'm sure that other restaurants know this as well.
That's true. If you go to a restaurant, they'll be like, we don't have the steak.
We don't have no ribs. We don't have no salmon. It's not, we have no lobster.
Almost never, I actually cannot recall a single time going out and hearing, oh, we don't have the pasta.
The most you will hear is that if the menu calls for spaghetti, they probably don't have it and ask you if you want the linguine instead, because they're out of it. But they'll never not have pasta ready and available. And it's funny because, like, pre-Fromage, at least Hillcrest, they have two different pastas for dinner and for lunch. So they dedicate and are committed to the pasta agenda in that sense. And I just feel like Jamaican people will want the diversity, but how many of them want the diversity? And two, the vast majority is the reason why we still have a pasta culture.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised how many people consider that to be their version of fine dining.
That's true. As you said that, I think it brings us into a more deeper look at it, because it's not just demand. It's not just what people want. It's not just, oh, people like pasta and them just go eat pasta. No. It's deeper than that. And I really wanted to touch on it because it boiled down to economics.
Of course.
As does everything that we talk about here on this
and
podcast.
Capitalism.
But it boiled down to economics. And as I've been, becoming an adult and becoming more aware of my...
It sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah. But not even just it sucking, but becoming more aware of my privileges within the Jamaican context, within Jamaican society. I've been realizing that you can't really take things at face value when you look at when you look at what people do in this country. A lot of you can't look at it at face value because there are so many things influencing what people do, what people say, what people wear, what people choose to consume, right? And socioeconomics is one of the biggest factors, I think, especially when it comes down to food choices, right? Let's be real. Ashley and I are the minority in this country, right? People who complain about shrimp Alfredo and chicken Alfredo being the only things on the menu, you're a minority in this country. Because you can go out enough to complain about something being so present on the menu. You've gone out enough to enough restaurants.
I mean, look at all the places we mentioned in just this episode. To know that,
right? Exactly. So you have to remember at the end of the day that as a business, you're trying to appeal to
you're trying to be inclusive.
You're trying to be inclusive, right? You're trying to appeal to the widest amount of customers, especially when you're not in a high-end luxury industry. You're trying to appeal to the most amount of customers so that you can have more sales, right? And when you think about it, in Jamaica, eating out is still a luxury.
Yep.
Eating out is not commonplace. Eating out is not something that people do every day. And it's not... When I think about the fact that there are some people who save up to be able to go to a nice restaurant for them birthday.
Or we can come back to the same argument that was even presented on Twitter. Restaurant week.
Yes!
People save up and look forward to restaurant week. And why do they look forward to restaurant week so much? Because things are cheaper during restaurant week.
Right. Things are cheaper during restaurant week. It's a time that offers more... It's a more inclusive time. People are able to come and have experiences that they otherwise just would not be able to afford. And so when eating out is still a luxury to a lot of consumers in turn are going to stick to what's safe.
Because at the end of the day, you don't want to end up dissatisfied and you don't want to end up wasting your money. And you also don't want to overspend when at the end of the day, this is effort that you're putting out. This is not something that you're privy to at all times.
Exactly. Imagine. Say, is only 2 times for the year you get to go out to have a nice restaurant. Your birthday and your partner birthday. Jesus. Right? Let's just say that. Right? It's the 1 time of the year where you get to put on a nice outfit. You have your little heels on. You're going out with your boo or with your girls or with your friend them. Whatever. You're going out and the spotlight is on you. Why would you choose to ruin it with a bad meal?
So you stick to what you know.
Exactly, because it's gonna ruin your birthday. You're gonna ruin the one chance that you get. You've been saving up to come to this establishment. You've always heard all of your friends talking about it, and you say, "Yeah, finally get to go." You get there, you don't know when you're going to be able to go again, so you just stick to what you know.
And it comes back again to what people can also afford and how much is pasta on a menu. And we all know the general range for pasta. And at the end of the day, for somebody who can't afford it, meaning can't afford it regularly, then let's say I'm a guy in university, I meet a girl, I want to take her out, or I'm a girl and I meet a guy and I want to take him out, I want to treat him to dinner, and I can only, and I'm trying to afford dinner for two. I asked out this individual. Then when we can afford, let's say him get up and go order steak, then me go order a pasta, and I'm gonna stick to what I know, because at the end of the day, it's what I can afford.
Yeah.
And we have to realize that you said it correctly: minority versus majority, and socioeconomics that's behind it. And one of the determining factors of people going to restaurants is obviously what you can afford.
Yeah.
It's how much money you have. How much money can I spend on a luxurious dinner this weekend that will not affect me next weekend?
Yeah.
What a lot of people enjoy about going out is the experience.
Yeah.
And
it's not just the food.
It's not just the food. Yes, the food is a
experience.
part of the experience, but it's also the fact that I can dress up and go out. It's the fact that I can experience a restaurant that I've seen on social media, that I've seen so many people talk about. And at that point, it's not just about what you order, it's the fact that you can go.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's what one of the things we advocate for on this podcast. It's about people being able to participate, people feeling included in an experience that will probably make them feel better about themselves, you know. And if that is what pasta affords you, then great.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not that I'm not pushing for more diversity, because at the end of the day, we can find more diverse ways to include people who might not be able to afford the 5-star dining experience with, you know, their budget. Because you can find alternatives to pasta that cost the same, but can award them with the same experience. And then you don't exclude the people who genuinely go out because they want to eat pasta. Because we do have some of those as well. But it's not just about them lacking diversity, because there are so many restaurants that do, but people gravitate towards pasta, and you have to understand why restaurants cater to those who can afford pasta.
You also have to think about what restaurants are you going to.
Of course.
Think about when you go to a restaurant and you look at their menu and you say, why this have shrimp pasta, or why this have Alfredo on it, why this only have burger on it, why this only have chicken finger and fries. Think about who their target market is. Think about where they're located. Think about how much money they've spent on the ambiance,
the experience.
Think about the experience. Think about how much money they've spent training their staff
for customer service.
When you're able to look at those things, it's sometimes very easy to understand why what is on the menu is on the menu.
Agreed. Because,
for instance, if you go to a fine dining restaurant, if you go to L'Escargot, right?
I've never been.
L'Escargot is a French restaurant in Discovery Bay, I believe, in St. Anne. You cannot find Alfredo on anywhere on the L'Escargot menu. When you go into L'Escargot, you feel like you are in a fine dining establishment. Someone comes and greets you at the door, you're seated, you're sitting by candlelight. It's a very rustic feel, but you know that you're in somewhere where you're not going to spend $5,000 if it's two people, right?
That's how I feel when I go Regency minus the
There you go. Regency is also one of those places. So when you go there, to me, I'm not surprised that Alfredo is not on the menu, because I feel like for those places, their target market is people who can afford more. People who have traveled, and so their taste buds have expanded, or people who want to travel. And you know, and when you think about it, like, it really, like, God, you're not going to go into a fine dining restaurant and see chicken fingers on the menu. You're just not. Unless it's a kids menu. But you're just not. And, you know, I just feel like I don't agree with the statement that restaurants in Jamaica lack vision, because a lot of them do have vision, and a lot of them are very diverse. Are you going to the right ones? Yeah. Are you going to the ones that suit your target, your budget?
Yeah, and if it is that you're looking for more than Alfredo, there are so many places that cater to that. And you know what's funny? This just randomly came to mind while you were talking about that. You know, the best burger I've had in Kingston is at Uncorked.
Really?
When Chef Stewie was at Uncorked, there's a burger there. This is the original one by Sovereign North. What was it called again? The Kelly, where you could add things on it, and then they put like caramelized onions. I know you don't like caramelized onions, but I added caramelized onions and pepper jelly. And it's a burger that I will crave at all times, and it's just fantastic. And I remember I was talking to somebody about Uncorked, and because they used to tell me that it's where their office used to order from all the time, so they got tired of it. And I say, you know, I really love the burger there. Somebody was like, why would you go to a place like Uncorked and get a burger? Why don't I go to like a fast food restaurant? Because it's just a burger. And I was like, that's not the same. Like, you have to understand, say,
fine dining burger. I would not even consider Uncorked fine dining, to be honest.
But it was
burger that don't come from fast food restaurants.
Different.
Taste so much different and taste so much
and to
realer. Like, it's so real.
Personally, I love a good burger.
Yeah, me too. I do love a good burger.
I spend my life trying to find where has the best, which version of it do I like more.
TGI's Jack Daniel's burger.
I love TGI's Jack Daniel's burger. With the sauce on the side, I love TGI's burger. Because I think that life is just better when I exist between two slices of bread. That is like the slogan of my life. Look out for my blog coming soon. That is what it's called. Bread, where I will explore the nuances and the greatness of what bread is. But yeah, I love a burger, and people will never go to a restaurant like that and order a burger, because them say, why would you order a burger off of a menu that Uncorked where they offer so many things? And I say that to support the argument that some people just go out for pasta because they love pasta just as much as I love burger. Look at Michael. Michael love pasta. No matter where we go, Michael wants to order the pasta because pasta is his life. Right? Yeah. And we do understand that you cater to that crowd. You cater to the crowd that is safe. You cater to the crowd of Jamaicans who don't want to experience change, and that there's nothing wrong with that. And you also cater to a crowd who wants an experience who can't afford it.
I was just gonna say, when you think about Kingston restaurants, there is a good reason why I think a lot of Kingston restaurants do carry burgers and Alfredo. It's because Kingston is a weird mishmash of all socioeconomic backgrounds.
Agreed.
Right? When you think about it, you have one office filled with people who are not getting the same pay, but all work at the same place. They're all mingling together. So if you say, hey Ashley, we're gonna go get lunch today at Uncorked.
Something at Uncorked for everybody.
Exactly. There's something at Uncorked for everybody. There's something at TGI for everybody. There's something at Terrace Grill for everybody. There's, so I think I understand the want for more diversity, but I don't think Jamaica is ready
for fully diverse
restaurant experience.
And we've done the indirect research. Think about it. The fact that we went for brunch and we had a good menu, and people did not like the fact that the menu changed so often. And it's not that Broken Plate's main menu changes often. It's just the brunch menu that changes every week. They offer something different on a Saturday morning. And there was a pushback. Right? We don't know if that's the majority view, but we do know that it comes from certain people.
And we do know it exists.
And it exists. And it's probably not uncommon.
Right.
So you have to understand, why is it that they want to play it safe, but also to recognize that I would never get up and say Jamaican restaurants lack diversity. The fact that we have so many cultures intertwined in Kingston and St. Andrew alone, where I can get up and I can get Italian food, I can get Greek food, I can get Chinese food, I can get Japanese food, all in the same space that is a marketplace, right? And I can get Mediterranean food. But to say that we lack diversity, I feel like it's such a false and problematic statement.
I get the hand where it's like, lad, you feel like everywhere you go, it's just Alfredo. Them can't change up the menu. But then when you really sit back and you think and you look deeper, when you peel back the layers of the onion that is Alfredo, you realize Alfredo in Jamaica, there's so much more There's so much more to why.
And I feel like a lot of the things that we talk about, it comes back to a lot of or cultural discourses, or social background or economic background, and all the things that make that up, and all the determining factors that go into people wanting to order what they do. And at the end of the day, if it's one thing we don't do on this podcast is bash what people like.
Yeah,
if you want pasta 7 days a week,
if you want your little pasta, if you want your little Alfredo, go out and eat your Alfredo. One thing I will say though, and I will always encourage everyone to do, is to try different things.
Yeah.
And the reason why I will always encourage people to try new things is because you'll never know that you don't like it if you don't try it. And you'll never know if you do like it. Exactly.
Never knock it till you try it.
But eat your Alfredo if you want. As I say, sometimes I get up
and
I look at Brad and I say, yo, Bradley, I really just want some Alfredo for dinner this evening, and I will find.
And sometimes I wake up and I say to myself, I just want some dim sum, and I have this craving every other day, right? So if I could, I would. So people just have that Alfredo need, and honestly, if you grew up all your life in Jamaica, all your life in one parish, and you were exposed to restaurants that catered to this only, there is no surprise that you had a certain palate when you get to a certain age.
But not even that, Ashley. And I remember when my mom had just moved to Atlanta, and obviously, she's a Jamaican, she don't know anybody. You tend to, everybody who in foreign know how it goes. You tend to just gravitate towards the Jamaicans because everybody's looking for community. And my mother at my house, I don't know about anybody else because I never grew up in anybody else's house. But my house, when I was growing up, I never ate curry goat and oxtail on a Sunday. I never ate fried chicken on a Sunday like that. For Sunday dinner, my mother always made it something different. It was either pasta, coconut fried chicken, salmon, ribs, my mother definitely tried a lot to introduce us to different foods at home. I guess so we wouldn't be frightened when we go out. I think that was what she was trying to do, and trying to expose us to different things, because she didn't have that experience growing up. She wanted us to experience different things. And so when she was in foreign now, talking to all of her other Jamaican friends and stuff, and she would tell them what she's cooking for us on a Sunday, it's almost like them I say,
why?
Where the oxtail, where the curry goat, wanna come a foreign and not eat foreign food on a Sunday, things like that is why people always buy chicken Alfredo, because
it's tradition.
It's and they're just not really I am used to eating Alfredo at home, as you said in the beginning. You're used to eating Alfredo at home, so why you going to go out and buy Alfredo? When you think about it, a lot of people not that used to eating Alfredo at home, especially growing up.
I had a different experience from you growing up with my traditional country parents. We used to always have traditional Jamaican Sunday dinner on a Sunday, but I remember that there were times where we would make, different versions of pasta, and Daddy would try his hand at making sweet and sour chicken, and just different things like that. But it come back to the same thing where we're exposed to a lot of these things at home. So there was really actually no need for us to buy it when we go out, you know?
Yeah.
And we have to also recognize that not everyone was awarded with this privilege. And although it's minor, we do have to acknowledge it as a privilege.
You have
because
to acknowledge it.
If we're supposed to go into the nuances about why Jamaican people eat the way they do, that's a whole other episode, because there's so many factors affecting it. And then it will
not even one episode, it's probably a whole season.
Yeah, you know what, it's always boiled down to socioeconomic conditions. And once we recognize that, then it's easy for us to realize, why do people order these things when they go out? Why do you save so much money and go out of your way to go to a nice restaurant and then buy Alfredo?
Yeah. So there you have it. Alfredo.
We sell a lot.
We love it. We hate it. It's on the menu out of necessity because we're trying to appeal to the widest audience possible.
And some people just love Alfredo.
Some people just love Alfredo. Some people can't afford anything other than Alfredo.
And that is fine.
And
because
that's 100% fine.
Alfredo is never the only thing on the menu.
It's never the only thing on the menu, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Whenever you go anywhere, you can always order.
Skip the
not
page.
Alfredo.
Skip the page.
Skip the page.
Skip the pasta page.
Skip past the pasta page.
Go on the grill or something.
Go to the seafood page. Go to the
buy some
entree
roast
page.
fish.
Go to the. There's
fish
so
we
many
eat
things.
today.
There are so many
fish
things.
I had to.
Girl, the oxtail tacos on me eat today.
There was the one from. Remember that was when I was gonna order that night, and it was
Then bring it back.
Then bring it back. I'm probably gonna have to go.
So good. So good. Alright guys, so as usual, continue to be safe, continue to mask up, sanitize, wash your hands, social distance.
And don't knock it till you try it.
Don't knock it till you try it, as always. Have a good week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.